Welcome to today's webinar series on behalf of the National Career Development Association. We are pleased that you have joined us today. Before we get started, I want to share some quick technical information with everybody. During the webinar, your microphone will be muted. We encourage any questions to be typed into the chat section, which can be found on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Our presenter will address those questions at the end of the presentation. Individuals who have signed up for this webinar will be able to log into their accounts on the NCDA website beginning next week to view their CEU transcripts. Any groups that are registered will need to return sign-in sheets to me in order to receive their certificates. If you have any questions on continuing education, you can contact me. My name is Alicia Cheek. I'm at NCDA headquarters, and my contact information was included in your webinar instructions message. I will now turn it over to Deandra Prescott, to introduce our speaker today.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm very excited to announce our speaker. Dr. Mary Edwin is an award-winning career development researcher and educator. She is an assistant professor of counseling at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. She is also the founder of Her Career Doctor, where she helps women who are unhappy at work get clarity and find a fulfilling career. Dr. Edwin has used Instagram to grow her career development practice audience to 13,000 plus followers in under 3 years and currently uses social media as her main source for marketing to and attracting clients. Her passion is in helping women improve their life satisfaction by improving their career satisfaction. So excited to have Dr. Edwin with us today. Very happy to call her my colleague and friend. And take it away, Dr. Edwin.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Looking forward to sharing with you today. And as Alicia shared, I will be addressing questions at the end of the chat. So my plan is to kind of go through some of this content for you. And please do make note of questions because I find that you get the most help when your questions are answered. I don't share slides, so make sure that you are taking notes because you will not have access to these slides after. But let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about how you can reach your students with Instagram. But first, I want to hear from you. So let me pull up the chat here. Can you tell me in the chat, why do you want to use Instagram to attract students to your career services center? So I want to get a better sense of, who is here, what your goals are, so that I can tailor some of what I'm saying to that. And I know it's going to take you a minute to type in the chat, so I'm just going to sip some tea while you do that. But if you can answer the question on the screen, why do you want to use Instagram to attract students to your career services center? How might this improve your services? What is going to be the benefit to you? I love that statement because they definitely don't read emails, and it's where our students are. Yes, Logan, thanks for sharing that. They get a lot of emails. Look, even I get a lot of emails, so I can't even imagine what the students must be feeling because it's where your students are going for information. It's your most followed platform. You want to be as effective as possible. Love it. Where your students are. Yes. Great. I mean, y'all, I'm going to skip through some of the beginning stuff because y'all already believe in it. They don't read emails, want to get more visibility and student engagement, okay? Secondary marketing resource on your campus, great. To engage with them in platforms they're utilizing to advance your services in relevancy. Yeah, so being more relevant for students, love that. Increase student awareness of what services you offer. Yeah, because I used to work at a campus career services center. You know, like the students who are right after graduation, they like drive up and they're like, find me a job. Yeah, we want to avoid that. I remember those days. Old school career counselor, love the high-tech concept. Okay, student workers are excited to create content for this platform, right, compared to doing flyers and email communication. Yep, perfect. Okay, great. So I love that you all already believe in the power of Instagram. So I really am going to like fly through like my first 3 slides. And it sounds like the key thing I'm hearing here is really trying to reach them, connect with them, and stay relevant and share your services. So just real quick, for anybody who still is not a believer yet, even though most of you are, I just wanted to let you know that your students are on Instagram, okay? As of, this data, well, the first column here, the 1 billion plus users from 2021, there are 1 billion plus monthly active users on Instagram, meaning people who actually get on the platform and use it, not that they created an account and then just left it to die. 18 to 29-year-olds are on Instagram. The data shows that it is their favored platform. It is where they go for information of all social media, even more than TikTok. As of 2021, 71% of them are on Instagram. And users, so Instagram users, visit at least one Instagram business profile daily. Okay. So Instagram is more than posting pictures on your feed. I think to start this conversation, it's important that you shift your lens of how Instagram is. If most of you are sort of in my age range or older, we started Instagram back when it was just pretty pictures of your Starbucks cup and the flowers, and might really have that picture mentality, right? Like share your picture and then just keep it moving. But Instagram has really drastically shifted over that time. And now there are so many ways that you can use Instagram to connect with your students. There's the traditional feed, which is what you see when you go to someone's profile, all like the squares on the page. But then Instagram Reels, we have Reels now, which are short 15 seconds to 60-second videos. Instagram Stories, and I have to back up and say, it's important that I think you realize that Instagram is committed to being the #1 social media platform that students use. Almost everything that Instagram has is in direct response to something else that exists out there. They are like, we want you to stay on Instagram. So Reels was in response to TikTok. Instagram Stories are videos or pictures that you can post, but they only last for 24 hours. That was in direct response to Snapchat. Instagram Live is where you can go live. You can really connect with your audience in a direct video form, almost like this.
Mary, are you there? I think we may have lost you. Okay, can you guys hear me? And now I'm having trouble with my camera. Okay, so I think Deandra is on it. We are trying to get her back. If you guys will give us just a few moments, we will see if we can get Dr. Edwin back connected. I'm not sure what happened, but you've got to love technology. So hold on just a few moments for us, everybody.
Okay, so this is where I cut off, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, let's just do it all over again. Okay, well, we're back. Gotta love tech, y'all. I'm talking about tech, and then tech chooses to act up. So I was sharing about how there are different features of Instagram, and I talked about feed. Okay, so I see the chat. It says I was talking about stories. So I got as far as stories when I caught up. Okay, great. So Instagram Live, I was saying Instagram Live is when you actually go live, almost sort of like what I'm doing right now on Instagram, where you can have conversation with your audience live and direct, where they can ask you questions, you can answer questions. And I found that this feature really helps to establish you as a helpful resource when you can answer questions on the fly, but also allows you to connect with your audience. And then Instagram Guides are ways that you can pretty much save collections on your Instagram profile. So maybe you've created a series of posts specifically about getting an internship in the tech industry. You can create an entire tech guide where if a student goes to your profile and they click that tech guide, they can scroll through all the posts on a related topic. If you've created something about navigating job fairs, preparing for job fairs or career fairs, or finding an internship or finding a job or doing resumes or cover letters, you can create these collections on your page where a student can go to that and just read all the posts you have about one specific topic. And then finally, IGTV, which really is called IG video now, but it's where all Instagram video lives. And that was in direct response to YouTube. So Instagram, like I said, really is committed to keeping people on their platform for as long as possible. So then Instagram is, I just went backwards, it looks like. Hold on. So then Instagram, why does it work for career services offices? Well, one, it's a really great way to humanize your office. So a lot of students, as y'all know, they're on campus, they are just kind of interacting with each other. They're not really paying attention to the offices that exist until they actually need them, which unfortunately for career services, most of your students, it's like when they're a junior, a senior, and they're like, wait, hold up, I don't know what I'm doing after college, and they think of career services, which isn't very helpful. So it's a really great way for you to put faces to the office so that people can connect, so your students can actually connect with the office as opposed to it just being another department on campus. Instagram allows you to increase your reach with hashtags. So really using hashtags to spread the message that you want to share with not just students, but also community members, right? So if you are a career services office that serves your alumni or serves your community members, you can use hashtags to increase where your message is going. It also allows you to actually attract your students. Like y'all are already saying, that's where they are, that's where they're spending time. And so when you create the right kind of content, it can attract your students to come to you and want to interact with you. And finally, it allows you to serve your students before they even come to your office. So you can create content that is super relevant, that provides value to your students to where they're like, hold on, these people know what they're talking about. Maybe I should actually go in, do a drop-in, get schedule a one-on-one and actually get support from these people because they know what they're talking about, as evidenced by the content they're putting on Instagram. So a business account is a free feature that Instagram offers to brands that want their accounts to be recognized as businesses. And for all of you who are in career services offices, you are most definitely a business and should have a business account. So the personal account is what most people start with by default. When you get on Instagram, when you join Instagram and you create a profile, it defaults to a personal account, which allows you to do all the things I shared earlier, right? You can put pictures on your feed, you have stories, you have IGTV, you have reels, you have all of it. But, and this is where it's really important, business accounts have access to data about their content and audience that personal accounts don't have. Okay, so without a business account, you are missing out on crucial data that can help inform your decision making. With a business account, you get data about what content is resonating with your audience, what time your audience is on Instagram, who your audience is made up of, where, literally like what cities your audience is in. So you really want to ensure that you have gone in and manually, if you haven't, manually changed from the personal account to the business account, because almost everything else I'm sharing today is predicated on you treating your career services office as a business. You can always change a personal account to a business account. And so just know that that's a feature. You go into your settings, you switch it over. But if you change from business to personal, you lose data and it can be hard to go back. So why do you need a business account? I already talked about some of this. One, you can add contact options to your profile. So you can connect email, even scheduling software to where your students can schedule appointments to come into your office directly on Instagram. So let's say they saw a post that was really relevant, or you just marketed something to them. You were like, we're doing a workshop series on negotiating, a job offer. Book a one-on-one with a career counselor and come in today. They can, if you have, because it's not all scheduling software, it's just some specific ones. And if you use one of those like Acuity, they can click a button on your profile that says book and schedule their appointment right then and there, instead of having to pick up the phone and call, which we know most students these days don't like getting on the phone. You can also add a category for your business. So you can position yourself in your profile as a career services office, which just then helps you show up when people are searching for things. Because that's the other thing Instagram is trying to do. They're also trying to compete with Pinterest in that they want to be a search engine. People are using Instagram to search for things, and Instagram scours your bio, your caption, your profile, your page for keywords to show your profile when people are searching for things. And then you can also add call to action buttons in your profile. Like I said, you can add book. They can email you right from Instagram. They can call you right from Instagram if they want to get on the phone. So the biggest thing, though, the biggest reason that I said you need an Instagram account is for the data. This data is crucial. I'm just showing you here some examples of what that can look like. So this is just showing you how do you get to the data part. But like what you can see here that with Instagram, who your message is reaching, how many impressions, how many people are looking at it. But you can see how many students are actually visiting your profile, are actually clicking on your website link that you have in your bio, are emailing you. As I was saying, you can see the locations, what cities are they in? You can see what age. So are you like attracting people who technically are college age students, traditional college age students, if that's your target audience? You can see the makeup of students who are following you. Instagram is definitely not as, they're not gender inclusive. So when it comes to gender, they just have women and men. And then you can see what days they're on the platform the most and what times they're on the platform the most. And what you can do with that data is you can decide when to go live, right? If your students are more on Instagram on Tuesdays at noon, then maybe every Tuesday at noon, you go live for 15 or 30 minutes just to ask, to interact with them or to answer questions that they have pre-submitted to you in your stories. But the data is really key for attracting students because you can see what's resonating. And that's what this screen is right here. You can see based off your content, which piece of content really got your students to share it with more people. What are they saving? Did you post something and you saw like a lot of students were saving it, which means it's a topic they want to come back to and read more about? What is causing them to actually click on your website? Is there a post that's causing them to click on your website? You can use this to drive, or actually you can use this to see what content is driving the action your students are taking, and that will then help inform your decision on how to use Instagram to attract and connect with your students. Instagram, you also need a business account to do marketing, and I like that somebody said, it's your second source of marketing because you're going to want to dedicate some of your marketing budget to Instagram. With a business account, you get access to, and I put on here Facebook and Instagram ads, and that's just because Facebook owns Instagram. You go through Facebook to create your ads, but when you create your ads, you can cause them to only show up on Instagram. You don't have to actually be running ads on Facebook, but when you create a business profile, you can connect it with a Facebook business platform, and that's where you run your ads. That's where the ad manager lives. So with Facebook ads, you can run ads using very detailed audience targeting. You can say, first of all, you can do it by location. So students in a 30-mile radius of where you are, which means they're likely going to be on campus. Students who are a certain age range, if you're trying to guess, okay, are they more likely to be juniors or seniors, and that's who we're trying to reach? Are they more likely to be freshmen, and that's who we're trying to reach with our seminar, whatever it may be? You can use that to gauge your students, who to target with your ads. You can look up interests, things like based off of literally like what TV shows they watch, what books they read, what artists they're following, what celebrities they're following. You can use all those to really target a very specific group and population of students. You can promote upcoming events with Facebook ads. So whether you have a career fair coming up, a workshop coming up, a training, whatever it may be, you can use ads to force your message to get in front of your students. And you can make sure they're getting in front of students because you would be using the location feature. So your ads are only going to be going to people who are in the city that you are in. And it also even allows you can use ads to just increase brand awareness, like literally just sharing who you are as an office. You can run a series of videos just introducing all the career counselors or coaches that work in your office and put a snippet of video together and just introduce yourself, turn it into an ad so that, again, you can become actual real people to your students and not just an office that they never visit. And so let's look at the anatomy of an Instagram profile. What are the things and this really is important because when students come to your page, they see your profile first, and there's some very key things on your profile that will determine if they hit that follow button and actually start following what you're sharing, or if they just keep it moving and they're like, I'm not really interested in this page. Like, this is not going to be fun for me. So your bio, which is just 150 characters to quickly establish what you do, who you do it for, and your credibility. So this is the first impression of your office personality. It doesn't have to sound too professional. Like, think about who works in your office and what is y'all's personality. Are y'all a bit more quirky in how you interact with students, or are you really like professional and, you know, buttoned up in how you talk? Whatever it may be, you want to show that in your bio. Name, so it can be LSU Career Services. This has actually recently changed. It used to be just 30 characters, and now it's increased to, I want to say maybe 60 characters. So the reason why this is good is because, remember, I talked about how people can search for things on Instagram. And so your name and your bio are two places that Instagram kind of, the algorithm looks to see if you are a match for what the person is searching. So what do you think your students might search? Might they search for internship in Alabama? Maybe that's where your school is located. So maybe you're going to put internships in your profile, or maybe they might say, find me a job, right? And so maybe your bio says helping students find the perfect job. Whatever it may be, think about what are your students actually looking for? What is the language they're using? And use that to describe yourself. And don't just focus on what you think is the right way to sound, because again, you're trying to attract your students, so you have to speak their language. And then your handle, which is the unique Instagram name. So that's what comes up at the @ So at NCDA might be a handle, but then the business name might be, you know, NCDA Career Professional Services, something along those lines. And then I just wanted to share quickly some other things to think about. Your profile picture. I see a lot of career services centers using like the school logo for their profile picture. Again, remember, students connect to people, not offices or brands. So the logo is, I mean, they see that logo everywhere on campus. That doesn't make you different. Is there a picture that you can use of maybe one of your coaches working with a student, or a group of students looking happy, or shaking hands with a professional, right? Like, your picture also gives personality to your profile. Your link, which is just the one link that you get on your profile that directs to a specific page. But there are other ways, which is beyond the scope of this training, but just know that there are other ways to take that link to multiple other links. That way, if you have multiple things you want your students to be able to get access to, you can point that link somewhere else and then give them a menu of options. And then the highlight, which is where you can pin specific stories to live forever. So I talked about how stories are, you know, they die after 24 hours. Well, there's a feature on Instagram where when you share a story, you can save it to your highlight reel, so that way it stays on your profile forever. So this is really a great place to share. If maybe after a workshop, you get a few students to just share literally just 10-minute snippets of what did they find most valuable about the workshop, and you share it to your stories right then and there. But then you can take that and save it to your page, so it always lives there. So students can then, when they come to your page, they can hear other students talking about the value they got from coming to your office. Maybe there's a resource that you have for students or products, whatever it may be. Those can all live on your Instagram profile. So I wanted to just show you. So I've shared about all these different pieces of the profile. I wanted to show you where they actually live, what they actually look like, so you can see that. So the bio is this, 150 characters that shows up right under your name. And this is what I meant when I talked about highlights. So this is where, whenever you've shared something to your story, if you look at these two pictures, you can see they have this purple orangey ring around them. That means these two profiles currently have stories that are live, so stories that have not expired. This page doesn't have any story. And so when you've shared a story, you can save it. And these are where your highlights show up right here. Profile picture, again, like you can see, both of these places actually all three of these are using a logo. But a logo, people don't connect to logos. People connect to people. So just something I think you should consider. This is where your link shows up. I find that having your address is really not relevant, especially if your students are already on campus. They don't need the actual address. A city and a state works, but putting your full-on address is like, your students aren't looking for that. They will figure out how to find you if they need to. They can literally Google the campus map. The unique handle that I talked about usually shows up here on your profile, but your name shows up down here. And this is where I talked about adding keywords. And then you can see that this person has a call to action button where somebody can actually book a session with them right now. Or the contact piece will take them right to their email. These two profiles they're missing out on the opportunity for people to schedule appointments with them immediately on the platform. So that's the anatomy of Instagram, anatomy of a business profile, why you need a business profile. Let's talk about actually attracting your students. The key to attracting your students with Instagram is connection and consistency. You've heard a theme in everything I'm saying. Hopefully, if you're paying attention, you've picked up a theme. I've talked about humanizing your office, humanizing your brand. People go to people for help. Even though you are an office, you want your office to have a personality that students connect to, a personality that comes to mind for students when they think of you. If I say Nike, automatically you think certain things. When I hear Nike, I think like social justice. I think like advocates. I think just do it, because that's their brand. Very different from if I say Apple, I think sophistication. I think simple. I think super expensive, and they're stealing all your money if you're an Apple person. But that's, by the way, Android fan. But you really just want to think about what is the personality you want your office to have, because that's what students will connect with. And then the consistency is you showing up consistently. Consistency is not the same thing as frequent. And I want to make that important, because when I talk to people about using Instagram and they hear me say consistent, they always think I mean churn out content. No, just train your audience to know when to expect stuff. Do you show up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon? Maybe that's all you do, and that's perfectly fine. But you want to be consistent in how you show up and what your feed looks like, and really build a brand identity for your office. So before you start creating content, you have to really answer two questions or clarify two things. Your target audience. Who are you trying to attract on Instagram? Is it all your students, or is it your freshmen? Or is it your juniors who are coming to the career fair, or sophomores looking for an internship, or seniors who are graduating, or graduate students, right? Like most of you, your campus is super diverse. You have undergrads, you have graduate students, you might have postdocs. Who do you want to serve as an office? Who do you find needs you the most, but maybe isn't really hearing from you or hearing your voice? And set your goals and objectives. What do you want to achieve with Instagram? Is it that you want students to come to your office? Or do you want them to just ask you more questions? Do you want them to go to your website? Do you want them to come to your drop-in hours that you have? What is the thing you want them to do based off of Instagram? Do you want more of them to be bringing in their resume for a review? Because you have a lot of services, right? Is it the one-on-ones? Is it the drop-ins? What really is the purpose? And the purpose matters because you want to always give your audience a call to action, right? You want to give them a call to action when you're sharing content. And so if you don't know what your goals are and what you want to achieve, you'll be asking them to do like 5 million things on one post, and that's just going to confuse your students. So when we think about content, and this is how you attract students, it really is predicated on the content you put out on Instagram. You want content that allows you to establish your expertise as career experts on campus. And with Instagram, yes, you can do video, you can do image, you can do text, even though it all shows up as images. But as you can see, I put some examples there so you can see what like a text post might look like, but also what a video post might look like. But those are categories. Overall, you can share a bunch of different things for students. Student testimonials, how-to videos, so how to adapt your resume for the career fair, how to dress up for the upcoming career fair, how to introduce yourself at the career fair. You can share really quick tips and strategies. As you know, right now, short form content is what is winning everywhere. Our students' attention span, our attention spans, not just the students, are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So you really want to be sharing things that are content that is easily digestible for your students. And this is where, so the last thing I put on here is Q&A. You can never stop asking your students questions. And I found that doing this in stories is best, because what happens with stories is when you share a story, you can do polls on there, you can do Q&A where they submit questions, but the questions your students are asking will tell you what content you need to deliver. Maybe all your students don't really care about doing their resume. Maybe what they really care about is doing informational interviews, but you're not talking about that because you think all they care about is a resume. So asking them questions, what is your biggest challenge looking for an internship? We have a career fair coming up in 1 month. What are you most nervous about when it comes to the career fair, right? So that's what you do in terms of sharing content with them. Relevant quotes, announcements, motivational videos, bust mids. So definitely take a screenshot of this real quick, so just to show you some ideas of the types of content that you can share. But ultimately, I want you to know that videos, especially reels, are dominating Instagram currently. Like those static images, like just one picture on your feed, not performing as well, not reaching your students, not getting in front of them. Instagram is pushing videos like heck, especially reels. So when I go to an Instagram business profile and I don't see the reels icon, so when you start sharing reels, a Reels icon shows up on your page. When I don't see that icon, I'm like, you are missing out on buku attraction methods, because Instagram really is trying to battle with TikTok right now. So they are pushing Reels like no man's business. Not only that, they are paying businesses to create Reels. Not only that, they share your Reels to people who are not even following you. So even when those students don't hit follow, your Reels can still get in front of those students that are around you, get in front of students who are looking for similar topics or even not similar topics. And when people see one Reel that attracts them, what they tend to do is they'll go to your profile and watch all the other Reels, and then go to your page to see who you are, what you do, and if you connect, now they want to keep following you. They will engage with your content. And once you get that one piece of engagement, then Instagram starts showing your content to that person over and over, because it's assuming that because they liked it, because they commented on it, then they must want to see more of your content. So just know that if you're not doing videos, if you're not doing Reels, you're not going to attract your students. You need to be creating actual videos. So 1 minute videos, 2 minute videos, 3 minute videos. Don't do more than 3 minutes unless it's a live replay, and Reels. And really, Reels goes from 15 seconds to 60 seconds. Reels are great for things like, if you think about how we always tell students, okay, you should have a 30-second elevator pitch for the career fair. Well, the Reel is the perfect way to do it. You have 60 seconds, right? So do a 15-second intro. Here's how you create, here's, a formula for your elevator pitch, and then say the actual elevator pitch in 30 seconds and then close it out. That's a real idea right there, right? So really creating that short form audience, short form content that can serve your students very quickly. So when you start creating content, it's important that you're tracking it, because at the beginning, when you're really trying to figure out what works for your students, what really attracts them, you might play around with different things, static images, videos, carousels, like just different types of posts. And ultimately, you then want to come back to your feed, to your data, your interaction, your insights, to see what is resonating with my audience. I remember, I love creating like fun graphics for my page, just because I think they're cute and I like pretty things, if you can't tell. And when I look at my data, the thing my audience likes the most are just screenshots of my tweets. Like literally the thing that gets shared the most, saved the most, commented on the most are screenshots of tweets. So guess what I started doing? I started posting more screenshots of tweets. They're boring to me. I'm like, this is not even pretty. It doesn't have any colors. It's just my words. But that's what my audience wants to see. That's what they're engaging with. That's what they're sharing. So I'm going to share more and just put the stuff I want to do here and there. So if you're trying to attract your students, you can't be so rigid that you think this is the only way we can share this content because this is how we know how. You really have to use your data to see what are the pieces of content that your students actually hit the like button on, actually comment on, actually engage with, and then you push out, you share more of those. So an easy trap to fall into with Instagram is really trying to just build up a following without actually establishing how you can help your students. So yes, content is great, but a part of your content strategy has to regularly be, what do you do for your students? Like you might be sharing, okay, here's what you do with your resume and here's what we do your cover letter, but a student is like, okay, but yeah, how do I schedule an appointment? And when I come, what is that going to look like? And what is that? Can you help me pick a major? Can you help me find a job? Can you help me find an internship? What exactly is this office going to help me do? So you have to also occasionally create content, and this content has to keep coming back. That's the thing about Instagram, y'all. Instagram is not an evergreen platform. So evergreen just means content that lives on forever. Most Instagram posts have a 24-hour lifespan, even things in your feed, because content keeps coming out. So things that you posted a month ago, nobody's really finding that. Like one student might scroll that far in your feed, but most of them are not. So you can bring it back. So you can't just say, oh, I posted what we do at the beginning of the semester, boom, bam, done. No, that post probably needs to come back at the beginning of every month, where you're constantly reminding students how you can help them and the results. Like, why does it matter? Most students, especially if I think of freshmen and sophomore, they're just thinking about having fun, right? Like they just want to go to the parties. They have freedom. They ain't got no parents over their shoulder. They're living the life. They're not really thinking about their futures, which is why I talked about those testimonials for students, where when you share videos of a student saying, I went to the career services office, they taught me how to do my resume, and then I applied to graduate school and got into 10 programs. Well, that student who's been thinking about graduate school now is like, oh, dang, I want to get into 10 programs. Let me go to their office and see if they can help me prepare for graduate school, right? So you really want to share exactly how you can support your students. You also want to do what I call permission marketing. So everything I've shared up until this point is you just really sharing content and hoping they sort of engage with it. So marketing services on your feed and stories will work for some people, but not everyone. Okay, not all your students are really going to see everything that you post because they follow a lot of accounts. So these audience permission methods will have a higher conversion in terms of your students actually interacting with you. So the first is get them via email. So I know somebody at the beginning said they don't read their email, but here's the thing. No, they read their email. They don't read their school email, which is all you have. They're reading their Gmail, they're reading their Outlook, they're reading their Yahoo, whatever else they're using to do email. That's what they're reading, and that's what you want access to. So you can't just depend on, unless, I should back up and say unless, because I know some universities have a rule where offices can only interact with students via professional channels, which is just their professional email. So if that's you, this method that I'm sharing might not work for you. But if you are in an institution where you are able to set up your own newsletter, set up your own email channel without getting into trouble with the institution as a whole, you can create what we call a lead magnet, which is really just an incentive that you offer to your students in exchange for their email address. Because when they're putting in, when you say, hey, I want to give you a guide or, an ebook or a training, put in your email and I'll give you this thing, they're not going to put in blah, blah, blah at psu.edu. No, they're going to give you johnsmith@gmail.com because that's what they're used to doing on Instagram. On other channels that's not school-based, they will give you their personal email. And then now you can send them messages that they actually read, right? They've given you permission to contact them directly via email. But even better is contacting them via DMs, which is direct messaging, where they are DMing you on Instagram. And that works just as well, if not better than Instagram. So at the end of the post, you can invite your students to DM you. You can say, hey, DM us a smile emoji, and we'll give you more information about the career guide we created. Or we'll give you a link to book your next one-on-one call, right? You have to tell them what you want them to do. Even better, and this is again beyond the scope of this training, but there are automations that you can set up where if they comment a word, if you just say comment guide below, you can set up an automation where when someone comments, they immediately get a DM giving them a link to that service or giving them a link to book, whatever it may be. And then they just, everything that it goes down in the DMs, and then it just goes down in the DMs. When you run a poll in your stories and they say yes or no, you can see who interacted with your stories. You can see who reacted with their poll. DM them and say, hey, I saw that you said you're struggling more with resumes than cover letters. Here's a link to our resume to drop in for a resume one-on-one 15-minute resume call where we'll review your resume for you, whatever that might look like for you all. Okay? So I went through that really quickly because I wanted to spend more time answering questions. So I'm going to pull up the chat because now we have a good 20 minutes to actually answer questions. And I actually see one right here. So what questions do you have? Okay, I went like that was really fast. So please take a moment to digest and share questions, and I'm going to answer them. First question here, Tam says, what do you do when students don't interact in comments or story stickers? And some people, engagement is low right now with Instagram across the board. One thing I would say is y'all can even start by doing some kind of giveaway. Kids, students like t-shirts, a mug, whatever it may be, a giveaway where, everyone who comments on a post or who interacts on a story is going to enter a giveaway for a free, LSU t-shirt, whatever it may be. I'm saying that because they actually might not be interacting because they're not seeing it, right? They might genuinely not be seeing your post. There's a lot of competition on Instagram right now. And if your content is not what they want to see, which right now really is reels, it's video, it's short form content, or carousel. So carousel is just like a series of posts where they'll swipe through like up to 10 images really in one. If it's not that kind of content, they're not going to engage. And if they don't engage with your content, Instagram is not going to show your stuff to them. So not like if you look at your data, again, if you are a business account and look at your data, you'll see that there's a high chance that only 2% of your followers are actually seeing your content. And that's just average numbers. So yeah, your feed might say you have 2,000 followers, but really only 200 of them might be seeing anything that you post. And so you want to jumpstart engagement so that your stuff keeps getting in front of them. And I found that good ways for them to engage is one, doing a giveaway, two, testimonials. So share other students talking about their experience, because then they connect with that, right? They're connecting with, oh, this is my colleague, this is a student, someone that I can trust just by nature of them being a student, and they might comment on that. Maybe even doing an interview with a student, right after a one-on-one session. Obviously, you have to maintain confidentiality, but just, hey, tell us about your experience in your session real quick. What was it like for you? And them just seeing that real-time student and professional interaction helps give them a sense of what it would be like. And then maybe say, okay, drop a comment below. What would you talk about if you came into a one-on-one session? So really thinking of questions that will actually get them to engage, that will actually stop them to stop scrolling, cause them to stop scrolling and actually respond to you. Okay? Best recommendation for setting up a staff in a business profile for multiple content creators. So if I'm understanding that question right, you can't have, like, you can have multiple content creators, but they should be on one business account. Okay. So what then you do is you share the password to that account with multiple people. They, like, you can have your Instagram profile on 5 phones or 5 iPads or 5 computers, because you can log on from the computer. It doesn't really matter. But so they can't be linked to, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, linked to personal accounts. So like I could have my personal account for Mary Edwin, but I could also be running the career services account for UMSL Career Services Center. They're not linked. Those are 2 separate things. I would just, on Instagram, I could have both logged into my Instagram, and there's a way where you can just switch between profiles. So the personal account doesn't really have anything to do with the business account, but you, as a career services office, you have just one business account, and multiple people can create content for that account without it impacting their personal account at all. So Meg, let me know if I answered that correctly. If I didn't, give me more context in the chat, because I'm trying to make sure I understand what you said. Okay, that answers your question. Okay, great, awesome. Fran, we highlight individual job posts on Instagram. Any thoughts on making this type of content more engaging? Turn it into a video. Find someone. So if, first of all, I mean, if y'all are partnering with a local company that is posting that job post, get somebody from that company to do a quick video. Hey, Amazon is hiring, or Amazon is looking for an UMSL student to work with us as an IT developer. Here's more details about the job post, right? Starting with the, like, people, seriously, people I've seen people, starting with this quick video will cause them to stop and actually listen. And then the job post can come later, like after the literally 5-second video. Hey y'all, we have a new job posting for you. Here's more details. And then it's a static image of the job posting. That initial high energy, hey y'all, because that's what literally most people do on their Instagram. They just scroll. Like, shoot, that's what I do sometimes. Or even with stories, they just, like, people are just scrolling. You have to stop the scroll. And the kind of content that stops the scroll has to either be a very powerful text in terms of words, or a video, somebody's face, something that looks funny, something that has music, something that has captions, because most people are watching videos initially on silent, so you have to have captions. So that's what I would share for job postings, is turn it into a video. So I had multiple ideas. So one was, you get someone who's hiring, or find somebody who does that job. Hey, I currently work as a project manager, and this company is hiring a new project manager. Or you do a series, like an interview. Tell us more about what it's like to be a project manager. And it's like literally like 30 seconds of short questions. And then you say, here's a post about an upcoming or an available project manager position. Click the link in bio to apply. This is quick thoughts, literally off the top of my head. If we sat down, I might think of more things. You talked about consistency in your posting, but how frequently should you post? Honestly, it really varies. It really varies. You want to see your data. At minimum 3 times a week. I would say absolute minimum 3 times a week. If you have the capacity, 3 times a day. I post anywhere from 3 to 5 times, depending on what season of business I'm in, Monday through Friday. Saturdays, I might do 1 post. I don't post on Sundays. So I would say at the beginning, minimum 3 times a week. There is no maximum. Maximum as much as you can do. Okay. What is your opinion on hashtags within posts? Use them. People still search for hashtags, so just use them. I mean, Instagram is conflicting. Instagram is like, use 3 to 5 hashtags. That's a lie. You can use up to 30. I use 30. Multiple content creators have talked about how they use 30 and they still get reach. Like, people still search for things by hashtag. So use hashtags. Like, ask, are Reels edited within Insta or use Adobe to create? Either or. You can create Reels directly in Insta. It depends on the reel. Let me say, it depends on the reel. Okay. If you're doing a reel that is sort of like the voiceover, because that's the thing about Reels. Sometimes you want to use trending sounds. So for anyone who's not familiar with how Reels work, like I said, it's a short video, but what is most popular with Reels is there'll be one sound that people then, it's so hard to explain without actually showing it to you. Like a sound that you then use, like you might just literally mouth the sound, but you have a message on the screen that relates to the sound. Just go on Instagram, look for Reels, watch to see what I'm talking about if you don't know what I'm talking about. So that being said, if you're going to use a sound that is currently trending on Instagram, then you need to create your reel in Instagram. But you can create it in Instagram and then download it and edit it somewhere else, edit the video somewhere else and then post it on Instagram. But you can also edit directly in Instagram. If it's just a video, maybe a video clip from another interview you've done, you can edit it somewhere else and post it to Instagram. Or maybe it's a video of somebody talking, like a short 30-second. You can record that anywhere and post it on Instagram. So as long as you have the video in the right, literally, format, you can edit it anywhere. Adobe, Instagram, other third-party apps, it doesn't matter where you edit your reels. Okay? How impactful is Linktree over sending users to a website in a bio? Honestly, I don't know the data on Linktree. I mean, it works. It's worked for me. It has worked for, like, when I visit other people's profile, I know what I'm looking for. I go to the link and I click it. I use it. I don't know. Like, the only time I'll use one static link is if I'm in a season of promoting one specific thing and I want everybody to go to that. But I use a Linktree. A lot of business owners I know use Linktree. Like, it's just one link just doesn't make sense, to be honest. So I think it just depends. If you have things that make sense, like core things that you're talking about in your content, where it's either they're gonna book a one-on-one or grab the career guide or schedule a drop-in or register for the career fair, like, it's always gonna be these 5 things. I think a Linktree makes sense, but I don't have the data on if it's better or worse. But literally every business I know is using the Linktree almost, so it must be working. That's my answer to that. Is it helpful to start following many accounts in order to increase your number of followers? There's no relation between your number of followers and who you're following. They're not correlated. Right now, the best way to gain followers, I will start to say, is Reels, but 2, relevant content. When a student sees a piece of content that really connects with them, they're going to go to your page. When they go to your page and they scroll, they're like, oh, I like all this stuff. They're going to hit the follow button. So right now, your content is the only thing that really increases your followers, not who you follow. There's no correlation between your number of followers and number of following. I like using the Linktree because there's always a rotation of things you want them to get access to and not have to find ones to get to your place. Yeah, so I think Linktree makes sense. Yep, you can make your own version of Canva on your website. You can use an app that does a link in bio. There's so many different ways that you can do a Linktree. We have 8 minutes. Any other questions? While you're thinking of questions, what are y'all taking away from today? I want to know, like, was this helpful for you? What are you taking away from today? Oh, yay, Melissa. Glad it was helpful. What's going to change about how you're using Instagram? Yes, you need a business account. Don't do anything on a personal account. You need that data. You absolutely need that data. Yeah, absolutely. Motivated you to get started. Okay, yay, get started. Love it. Add more video. Yes. Like, before I came on here, I went to a couple of, because usually when I do this training, I'm doing it for all career development professionals. So we talk about just businesses and setting up your own private practice. But sorry, because this was different, I went to look at a few different career services centers and all of them had just static images. And I'm like, where are the videos? Like, this is not, your students are looking for videos. They're not reading. They have to read for class. They're trying to read more. You need videos. So yeah. I lost track of where was I? Oh, very helpful. Feeling energized to create more reels, rope in more staff members, hire the student staff, because the student staff know what the student wants, right? They have the student mentality. They have no problem getting silly on reels, getting funny, dancing, whatever they got to do to get the energy up. And because you're trying to attract students, using students in your content will attract students, right? Like, unless y'all, and again, I'm assuming y'all are like in my age or up, and I'm not telling you my age, but just know that we're not students. We don't really connect on their level, the way they're like, the words they're saying, the slang they're using, like we're just not going to connect with them that way. And so if you can pull in student staff, get somebody to do a work study, hire an intern to do social media for you, they need the job, right? They need the experience. They will connect and use language on such a different level that will attract more students to your office. Seeing the analytics for the business account. Yes. Scheduling appointments on career. Yep. Put a link in there. Enough staff time to create content. There are also ways to schedule. Like, I don't post anything live. Like, I remember once I was on vacation with my best friend, and she was like, "Wait, how did you just post on Instagram? We were on the beach." I'm like, "Girl, I didn't post that. I have a scheduling software." And that's something that I do with companies when we do the consultation. Is there multiple apps you can use to schedule things out? So if you don't have enough staff, just block off. You can block off, like, I would say 2 hours a week to map out your content, create your content, schedule your content, and nothing has to be done live. Hiring students, yes, do that. Shifting from text to video, yes, should do that. Yay, love that you're getting ideas. Promoting your job shadowing program for students deciding on a major. Any tips? I would say get like 3 to 5 people to already commit to the job shadowing, like actual professionals. And those 3 to 5 people, maybe each one share, like, ask them the exact same question. Why do you want a student to shadow you? Or what are you looking forward to in a student shadowing you? Or find one student who's already shadowing and have them do a takeover, a day in the life of a job shadow program, and they share behind the scenes of what it looks like in their stories, and then you save those stories to a job shadowing highlight. Those are some quick thoughts. As a newbie, terrible millennial, a personal account was created and abandoned. My number one piece of advice for getting started is get started. That's it. Post something. Okay, yeah. I love that this was helpful. It's such a useful tool. It really is. Our ads with the business account, ads are not free. No. You have to pay for ads. So that if you, I'm hoping that as an office, y'all already have some form of a marketing budget, and some of that needs to go to your ads. Now, while they're not free, you can literally run ads on $2 a day. Like, they're not super expensive either, depending on what your goal is, but you do have to pay for ads. Yeah, I didn't say that, but you have to pay for ads. I love Later. Yes. Scheduling software. Yeah, so the software Logan just shared. So there's later.com, there's Planoly, are the two. Tailwind is another one. So Later, Planoly, Planoly, Tailwind, meetedgar.com, CoSchedule, I think is what it's called, CoSchedule, Hootsuite, Hoote Suite, Buffer, Buffer. So I just dropped a bunch of names. Hopefully you caught some of that, but Later is great. And a lot of those have a free option, like the scheduling software, they'll have a free tier that you can start. Yes, media takeovers are great. I mean, a day in the life of, you could do a series where every Monday we have a different local professional show you what it's like to do this job. Or when a career fair is coming up and recruiters are coming to your campus, get like a series of them over the course of the week to do a takeover and share what they're looking for in students and why they're coming to campus and what they're most excited about, things like that. Yeah, so Facebook has Creator Studio. So somebody on here said they use Facebook Scheduler. It's called the Facebook Creator Studio. You can use that to schedule also. Yep. Okay, we have 3 minutes. I stopped sharing just so. Hopefully you got my contact info if you have follow-up questions. Thanks for sharing your insights. I love that y'all are energized, you're excited, you want to get started again. Instagram is really a great business tool. It's no longer, like, I have a personal account too. Ask me the last time I posted on it. I can't tell you the answer. I don't know. Yay, I'm glad it was helpful for everyone. Thank you all for being here, for staying. It was my pleasure. I love talking about Instagram, especially for career development professionals. I think it's such a great platform. Thank you, Logan.
Thank you so much to Dr. Edwin, and thank you to all of our attendees today. That was some great feedback and interaction there, which is everything that we are looking for in a webinar. So that was great. And thank you to Deandra for scheduling this and getting Dr. Edwin to speak to us today. Just a reminder to all of our attendees, this webinar was recorded. I will send the recording link to everybody next week, and your continuing education transcripts will also be available in your NCDA account next week as well. Hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.